Whispering there.
Whispering there.
Yeah. So should we go in the museum?
Before you go, excuse me, one question.
Yeah.
Back on this picture, 1911, you said there's no black people or no women. Were black people actually playing cricket though in 1911? Were they allowed in the teams?
In the UK?
In the UK, yeah.
So that's a good question.
Today we're going to join Men Walk and Talk at the Oval Cricket Ground and just learn a little bit more of the history of cricket. My nephew Little Zed decides to join along, and maybe it's good teaching the new generation, about cricket. But yeah, and let's find out why the West Indies not up to par lately. But yeah, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna go in there and see what it's about. See you inside.
We have three sets. So this is men's board. So on the left we have the cap Surrey players. I just say when you're capped for Surrey, it's like getting a job. So if you just play once or twice and you're not very good, then you wouldn't get a cap. Once you're more established, you do get a cap. And then on the right hand side, it's where Surrey players have made their England Test debuts. Obviously we do have players for other teams, but it's for England Test debuts because we hold Test matches almost always for England in this ground.
Just clarify, a cap. Is it a physical cap?
Yeah, it's a physical cap. Yeah, physical cap.
Oh, that's the cap?
No, it's not the cap. But you could, let's say, from the 1920s that changed here for women. At Lords that didn't change till 1999.
What?
So when did it change for black people? When did it change for black people then?
Good God.
So the thing is that black people could always join. But actually,
somehow our application got lost in the mail.
So funny enough, somebody asked me that question because I also give talks at Lords as well, because I like cricket obviously. Somebody asked me that question the other day. So here you can just apply and join, whatever. Whereas at Lords, to join the NGT, the might have been it's a more complicated process. If you go back to every year before this one, you had to have 4 current members nominate you as running for. So it's who you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nowadays that's changed. And then the ACE programme is starting to have a broader, what's the word, approach to everybody else that comes here. So we're running some, well, we, not me, somebody who's involved in the ACE programme is running an ACE tour about Afro-Caribbean involvement in cricket. And when we go into the museum, you'll see that they've got a special case which has memorabilia from Afro-Caribbean cricket in it.
Like a vuvuzela.
Westerners. No, so it's the test matches that have been here. When we go in there, you'll see. But a scorecard, for example, from 4 different test matches in 1976, which was quite an incredible match. People cooking food in the stands, all the rest of it. Did anybody come here to that match in 1976?
No, I watched it on TV.
Yeah.
Michael Holding.
Yeah, Michael Holding, yeah, who was on the Honours Board tonight. Quite an incredible man, Michael Holding. You see him around, he's a commentator now.
That's right.
And he's actually quite hard to recognise because I remember him being like this thin, and he now looks like a normal person.
That's very nice of you.
No, sorry, it's just, I mean, he's very, yeah, he's quite an amazing man, I think.
Yeah. They had a nickname for him, like the silent death.
Whispering Death. Whispering Death.
Yeah.
Whispering Death.
Yeah.
Whispering death.
Should we go to the museum? And we
Before you go, excuse me, one question.
Yeah,
Back on this picture, 1911, you said there's no black people or no women. Were black people actually playing cricket though in 1911? Were they allowed in the teams?
In the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
So that's a good question. So I think, so the story I know is from 1968, as I say, with Basil D'Oliveira, who, as a person of colour, was not allowed to play for South Africa, but he was allowed to play here. He kept picking him to play for us because he was a good player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'll probably know this far better than I do. So we're not like South Africa, which had apartheid, but there would have been invisible barriers, I'm sure, to stop people playing.
I was just wondering about a comment, like there being no black people, because I would have assumed that black people were not invited to play in these teams at that time, so then it would follow that they wouldn't be in the picture. Like the suggestion was.
I have a follow-up question. Who was the first black player to play for this team?
So you see, you're asking questions. I'm doing an ACE tour myself on Thursday, and after that I'll know all the answers. But hopefully you will see. So the 4 names on the board we started with downstairs. So Sylvester Clarke is one, who is definitely a black person.
In the 70s. That would be in the 70s.
Yeah, it's a lot later. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Come with me in here.
This place will be here 100 years from now, and I think there's lessons to be learned in that. How their culture and their history and their traditions is such a strong part of their identity, how they see themselves. You can see the pride that these people have in the oval ground, the history of the oval ground, the history of the game itself. So that's been a really fascinating experience, as well as the history of the area. How did Oval, as part of the City of London, how did that grow? How did that manifest? It also helps when you have a great tour guide, which we have Caroline, brilliant tour guide. Yeah, men's walk and talk, knocking it out the park again. Thank you. Cool.
And you've got me on it now. The oldest recorded cricket bat, we call it the Chitty Bat.
Chitty Bat.
That's what the C stands for. 1729, and you can see it looks like a hockey stick. So as I said to most of you earlier, people used to buy Underarm in those days, and there's a picture behind if you can see that happening. We do have a black and white version of it here, and that you can hold it a bit closer. So people bowling underarm, you see the wicket looks a bit different as well. So when you've got underarm, it looks more like a croquet, which is why I think the etymology might be the same. But as things evolved and changed, the bat, we've got this little plaque here which shows how the bat evolved over the years. So yeah, things changed, and that is it's a very old bat, quite a precious possession. Slightly less precious, but also a novelty, is this is an original stump camera down here.
Stump camera.
Yeah, so the middle stumps have a camera, so you can see originally what
And
they...
how it fits into the stump.
Stars falls into the sky, and summer was alive, going to the end of time. I can see the daylight, I swear perfectly, is it really the end? Just so like a stranger, so far.
So, John Major, hopefully some of you may know, remember who he was?
Brixton boy.
He is a Brixton boy, and he's a very great cricket fan, which is why I mention him. And he comes here a lot, and he does get invited into this room. He actually, on one of the summits he went to when he was Prime Minister, took a cricket bat with him, which they thought was quite a strange thing. But it's this one just here by the door. He got it signed by the world leaders at the summit when he was here. So quite a strange thing.
They must have thought he was nuts.
So he went abroad with a cricket bat.
Yeah.
And he didn't get arrested.
Maybe we try to get through
So it's quite, and hopefully it explains them what cricket was. I think Bill Clinton, for example, and Yeltsin and people like that have signed it. Also, pop and rock stars.
Yeah.
So we had a one-day international here against New Zealand last month. Brian May, who is he the guitarist, bass guitarist at Queen, for Queen. So he was in here. Mick Jagger,
I was about to say, he's a good big cricket fan.
He is a big cricket fan. I think it was for his 80th birthday, his family actually got him a box here.
Wow.
In the Bedford stand, which is next door. So one stand got named after former players whose portrait we saw downstairs. So yeah, Mick Jagger and John Major in the same room, for example, is quite an interesting thought. So Mick Jagger, Brian May certainly, and they were sitting out here watching cricket. So yeah, as I say, you have to be invited into this room to watch. So,
like compared to a football match, it's like very loud, etc. What's the energy? Is it more gentrified? Not gentrified. Is it more gentlemanly? Is it kind of like again that's
more reserved?
No, but that's the old school way. I'm just working out. Are we still there?
So it depends. So it has moved on. Cricket's always been different. I mean, some of you will have been to a cricket match before. So it lasts all day.
Yep.
One of the great things about a cricket match when you come to an all-day match is how relaxing it is.
Exactly.
So it's not like football. There's kind of or rugby. There's always something happening. And the ball gets bowled, and the match evolves over the course of a day. And you're with your friends, or even actually if you come on your own, it's just very relaxing to sit and watch. You know, have a chat with your friends, maybe about cricket, maybe not about cricket.
It's a social occasion.
It is absolutely social. First international soccer match in England and the first international rugby match in England were here at the Oval in the 1870s. And it was a way of making money in the winter, getting more people into the ground and to experience the ground here in the 1870s. This pavilion was built in about 1898, so this pavilion wasn't here then. Things have evolved over time. But yeah, so in the 1870s, a lot of football was played here, and over the years, other sports have been held. So American rules football, Australian football, baseball, hockey, lacrosse, even cycling around the outfield. And then fast forward to the 1970s, we've actually had concerts here. So there was a concert for Bangladesh, for example, and again, a way of getting more money into the ground. And so people like Rod Stewart, for example, those kind of people have played here. The Who, people of the 1970s. So even with a concert, people are all over the pitch, which the ground staff really don't like. Even with that, it's
destroyed.
The ground staff, so the grass is very precious now. We keep it for cricket only.
You said you're running for me.
somebody would have come here to see matches, is the wickets are this way. So people bowl from this end, the Vauxhall end. So we're behind the bowler's arm here.
Right.
So the
So
Vauxhall
it's
end-
that way,
so it disguises noise. Microphones are so good nowadays, they don't really need that. But Shane Warne, rest his soul, was renowned for sitting at the back and shouting, trying to be heard on the microphone. But yeah, microphones are really good now, so you actually probably don't need carpet on the walls. But the other thing to say is that this room is in the stands, as you can probably tell. So that means that there is some noise from the stands, some atmosphere that does come in. The radio people, the test match special people, do actually have a window that opens, and they dangle a microphone outside to get in the real noise. Here you do feel a lot, and one of the people who've used this room says there was a World Cup match, I think Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, there was so much noise you could feel the ceiling shaking.
Ooh.
So,
Star floating to the sky. The summer was alive, going to the end.
The youngest member of Men Walk and Talk. You had a tour of the Oval Cricket Ground.
Like when I had the helmet and
Oh, the cricket bat.
I'm sad.
What message you have for the West Indies? That
Do not give up. You got this. Practice even more harder. Get stronger.
So it was interesting. Me being a West Indian myself, and I love playing cricket growing up. But I've not been seeing the West Indies up in this place, being at the Oval cricket ground. It'd be nice to see the West Indies back, see them back on top. You know, we run this game, you know, of cricket back in the days. And I remember when the West Indian cricket team came here, I can't remember what year it was. Was it 70, maybe 73, and they came here, and when they were racially told that they couldn't play cricket or they couldn't win, they couldn't beat the English team, and they destroyed them, you know. And it was nice also to come and learn a bit more history of cricket, learn of the lack of diversity. And I mean, my son, you know, he was part of this program a few years back. Came in here to play a bit of cricket, and it would be nice to see more people up in this place. From what I've seen with the tours, it's mostly white people. Hardly any black people on the tours. Maybe it's time for you black people, or I should say people of color, to come in here and start looking up, you know, start looking into areas like this, the cricket, other games that is started to diversify. But yeah, it was quite interesting coming here. I'm going to say thank you to Carol, brilliant tour guide. You know, she was very welcoming. She did something for us, and that was really good. She actually took on board everything we said. She was explaining that how, you know what, there's not enough black people, not enough people of color in the club, and it needs to be more welcoming. And I think, you know, everywhere we go, you know, we are bringing this, we're asking the right questions, and that's really good. So we are Men Walk and Talk. Let's hope we can change the game and diversify and ask the right questions.